Hello everybody and welcome back to Kerbal Space Program 2, where the frame rate is almost marginally acceptable after a game restart. And we're currently heading over towards target retrograde over here. Now I'd like to push a little bit further along this 90-degree line than target retrograde, and I'd like to push the anti-target and the target retrograde node a little closer together. I don't know how viable that will actually be at this frame rate, but we'll see. The frame rate is getting steadily worse as we go along here. I've only had the game be booted up for like 4 minutes at this point, so we might have to do extremely regular game restarts to get this to a reasonable frame rate, because yeah, frame rate is currently degrading. Now, that might, this is definitely worse than it was. That might have something to do with the fact that we're getting closer to this craft. We'll see how that goes. I'm going to continue to run tests. I want to get this mission done. Ultimately, that's what I really, really want to do. We'll see if it's possible, because this is definitely only marginally playable. So what I want to do right now is I think we're going to like do each major step and then do a game restart in between each step, because there's some sort of like horrible memory leak or something that is causing this to happen, I think. So for now, what we're going to do is we're going to try to aim. I would like to aim all the way here. We're going to aim like maybe here. We'll see what that ends up feeling like. We want to be a little bit off of this node, and then we're going to warp slightly to reset our physics. And then we're going to burn to push this node together. That's the overall idea here, because this is a slight get closer burn. Then we're going to want to be at target retrograde. And then we're going to want to do a braking burn, but that will happen probably after a game restart at this point. Because yeah, the game definitely degrades after the first few minutes of play. So I think we've got some sort of a memory leak situation going on here. Hopefully, once we start shedding bits of all of this, it'll hopefully improve. Okay, so we're almost where I want to be in terms of pushing. Actually, where this flashed to briefly is about where I want to be. So we want to be going up ever so slightly here, but I'm going to start a little bit of burn here. Very small, but we're using this to help us gimbal for right now. I want to take us off of the target retrograde for the moment. And we can see our target velocity is going down. I just want to try to pull this together a little bit. Okay, let's throttle up at this point to full throttle. And I'm just leaving it right about here. Okay, this is pretty decent at this point. So these are pushing together, and once they get very close to being together, that's when we're going to stop this burn. So this is pushing out how long we have until we have our rendezvous. And we'll see how possible our rendezvous actually ends up being. But let's just burn like this for now. That reduces the amount that we're going to have to burn for our braking burn. And we're drifting in the opposite direction at this moment, which is not necessarily ideal. Let's bring that back up if we can. Now we need, because of this, we need to be burning like up here. Okay, I'm going to call that good for now. We're going to head over to target retrograde. And we can see that now our separation is going to be 910 meters with a relative speed of 90 meters per second. That seems pretty decent. So right here, I'm going to create a maneuver plan, and we're going to do a retrograde burn, but this is going to be target retrograde, so this is not going to be exactly correct. And we know that this should be 90 meters per second. So let's just bring this up to about here. We're just using this for timing. 93. Okay, close enough. Okay, so I'm going to quick save here. I'm going to restart the game, and we're going to get this turn completed and get this braking burn done. Actually, I might do the turn before restarting the game. Yes, I think I should. So let's just accelerate this up, but I will be back when we are in position for this burn and the game is restarted. Actually, hang on. We had a thing before where the frame rate recovered when we warped for a very brief period of time. Let's see if we can reproduce that. No. That's a no. Okay. So that's noted. I guess I will be back in a few minutes here. See you guys in just a bit. Okay, so here we are, loaded back up and approximately in the correct position, and I'm not going to claim that that's actually that much better of a frame rate. I think that's pretty much, it is what it is at this point. I don't think there's too much else to say about that. Now, I do want to do a slight corrective burn here. Specifically, what I want to do is I want to bring this up a little bit, and it doesn't have to be much. Let's get a little bit of burn in here for gimbaling purposes. And let's just move this up to somewhere around here or so. And I just want to push together these two nodes a little bit. We're not trying to get this down to 0 at this point. We're too far away for that still. I just want to push together these two nodes. So that is the overall goal at this point. So we're going to hold around here or so. The further up we go, the better this push is, but it's not going to be ideal, I'm afraid. We're just going to hold here for now and just look to push together these nodes. Let's bring this up to full burn. We're going to need to go out this way a little bit. Not much. That looks good. Cutting throttle, entering warp to kill the physics. There we go, and bringing it back down, and we're going to bring this over to retrograde. So our timing on this burn is going to be different now. And we also know that we are now going to be a relative distance of 4 kilometers, so that's a little further. Not absolutely ideal, actually. But I guess it's okay. I'm actually going to get rid of this node, and I want to see what the actual is. What's the actual here? Because that would have been after this burn. The tooltip isn't working. Cool. We can't actually find out how far apart we're going to be now. Thanks, KSP2. I guess I'll try closing and reopening the map view. That worked. Okay, so we're now 300 meters apart. That is probably close enough to impact. So we're going to have to be a bit careful about that. But our relative speed is not going to be all that tremendously high. 64 meters per second in order to get our relative speed down. So that seems great. We're going to have some drift here. I'm going to leave that be. We're not going to attempt any other corrective burn at this point. So I want to make sure that we are controlling from here. Not that that should make any difference. And we're going to be setting up our target, right? But first, we need to get into position for this turn. We're pretty close to it, but let's just bring this on down. And the question is, this is what I consider to be a marginally playable frame rate. How bad is the frame rate going to be when the second vessel is loaded in? That's the question. And the answer to that is, I don't know. Maybe it'll get better again once we dock these up. Like, I'm surprised that this is as poor of a frame rate as it is, to be honest. This is not that many parts. It really, really isn't. So maybe if we were to untrack a bunch of our other things that we put up in the past, maybe that would help. I don't know that it would, but we're not planning on using them anymore. Wait, no, this is a training center. I want to go to the tracking station. I don't know that this would actually help our frame rate, but it wouldn't hurt it. So let's see if that helps out. So this is going to be getting rid of the rovers that we left around. This is going to be getting rid of this ComSat, things like that. So we would destroy this ComSat. We'd destroy this fuel station core. Default name 25, whatever that is. Over Eve, we don't have anything. Over Duna, we've got this combined 10 that we can destroy. And this will save some amount of processing time, but it should be a truly insignificant amount of processing time. But honestly, At this point, anything that we can get is nice. Do we have anything left on pull? Nope. Anything left on lathe? Yes. So we will destroy this as well as this. Just trying to get as much frame rate as we can at this point. Okay, so I believe we have things on Elu as well. If I can open this, that would be nice. Hello? Elu? There we go. So this is our rover on Elu. Okay, so let's get all of that destroyed. I don't expect that to be a significant amount of additional frames. But let's go ahead and fly the fly safe 16. And that'll be fine. It looks like it is pretty much in position now. So the main question is, how far away are we? And the answer to that is, I can't actually read that because of the coloration of it. It's too similar to the coloration of Kerbal. Like, I have no idea what this says. I think it's leaning way in here. I believe that that's 8.2 kilometers. Okay. So that is noted. We want to be locked here for now, and the question is, when is this intercept? That is going to be in 2 minutes. So I'm going to warp ahead about 1 minute, and we'll see how close we remain and how much we need to change here. Okay, this is definitely warping forward. That looks good. Okay, now I can see 6.5, 6.4, 6.3. Cool. So we can actually kind of see how far away this thing is now. That's very good to know. So it's now about 5 kilometers away. And we should be coming out of this time warp pretty soon here. Okay. So that is fine. Looks like we stayed locked to the target node. Ooh, hang on. Hang on a moment. I saw, yeah, this is loaded in. Okay, so this is the frame rate we're expecting to be at then, as we come in a little closer. So with that loaded in, that makes more sense why our frame rate is like this. So now the question is, as we come in here, how close are we going to be coming? This is not tremendously close. How far away are we from this intercept point? 58 seconds? Okay. We're going to need to start up this burn pretty soon here. I think I'm going to start it once we get to about... I was going to say 2 kilometers distant, but the thing that we have to remember is these are very large craft. Like, this thing is hundreds of meters across, I think. But let's keep an eye on this, and I will burn when I feel like the time is right. This is a very not scientific way to do this. But here we are. For right now, I feel like we're coming in at a pretty good separation. Like, this is going to be, like, way out over here, I feel like. So, for the moment, I think we can come in a little closer. Keep in mind, our closest intercept here is 300 meters. Do we think that that wingspan is 300 meters across? I don't know that it is, to be honest. But I also don't know that it isn't. It's pretty big. But I don't think we're on a collision course. So that is very, very good. So in that case, I would like to continue to head in until we're about 64.6 meters per second, huh? We know our thrust to weight is pretty decent. We can bring this in quite a ways. Let's go ahead and warp this up to 10x. 2.6, 2.5, 2.4, 2.3, 2.2, 2.1. Yeah, this is moving pretty good. 1.8, 1.7, 1.6, 1.5. I'm taking this down to 1 kilometer for right now. We're dropping out of warp at this point. We're 1 kilometer away. We know our closest point is 300 meters, and I think our sizes are fine here. Something is changing. This may have just become physics enabled at 1 kilometer. Okay, frame rate definitely went down, but it did recover a little bit. This is almost barely not playable at all. Amazing. Okay, so let's bring this in. We still have all of this fuel here, and there's not really too much that we could do with that. We're pretty much just going to throw it away. Which is unfortunate, but it's definitely not the end of the world. Okay, so we're currently about 800 meters away from this, and waiting for it to come in a little closer. I think I'm going to start this burn at 400 meters. And we'll see how this feels. Maybe 500. Getting the actual dock up is going to be very interesting. I'm not sure how we're going to do this, to be honest with you. With this frame rate and with how unwieldy these vehicles are going to be, it's going to be a whole thing. So that's going to be very spicy. No doubt about that. We're currently about 600 meters away from this thing. Yeah, I'm thinking 400 meters will probably be okay. That said, we are cruising at 60 meters per second. I'm going to start this burn now, actually, and let's see how that feels. Yeah, this feels about right. Okay, so this burn has started up. This frame rate is very spicy. I wish KSP2 was better optimized, that's for sure. Yeah, we're gonna need to brake a little faster than this, but it's okay. We're gonna be pretty close. We're currently 450 meters away and traveling at 48 meters per second, so this is reasonably fine. We're going to be ditching this fuel tank here soon enough. With our relative velocity currently at 42 meters per second. And we're going to start going past this guy here in about 100 meters. So that is definitely noted. No doubt about that. Right about now, I'm wishing that I did actually put RCS on this. I probably will if we have to bring up any more of these, which we might. But for the moment, this seems quasi-okay. We are still moving at about 20 meters per second relative, so yeah, this is going to be pretty good. We're not going to overshoot this. In fact, we're going to very slightly undershoot it, and that's okay. I don't mind that. So we're down to 17 meters per second. This is going to get real spicy when we get down very low. I don't really have the frame rate to precisely modulate this. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to have to cut the throttle way, way down and go very slow. Which will happen fairly soon here. We're down to 6 meters per second of relative speed. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 meter per second, cutting that throttle. You can see there it overshot by a fair amount. And now this is just wiggling around like mad. Okay. Floating point issues or something? I'm attempting to very, very slightly throttle us up, and the game put us at 44% thrust. Okay. We're going to have to do this way. So we're going to keep this at about 4% thrust here. This is going to be a bit of a problem. Okay. Let's cut that thrust. We're at 0.1 meter per second separation. That's as good as we're going to get for right now. So let's hop over to this vehicle. And the first thing that we're looking to do here is we are... Oh man, this frame rate is exciting. We're looking to jettison this. This is just not enough, and for right now, we don't want to have this. So we're going to undock that. Our electric charge is not tremendously high right now, so that is noted. Eventually, the game will get caught up here. Okay. So next up, we want to control from this docking port. There we go. And now I want to come out over here. We're very far apart still, and we're going to have to probably do a get closer before we do our final docking. There's going to be a fair amount of drift as we come in, and that is understood. But I want to set this, if I can. There we go. as our target. Okay, I think it's set. We'll go into our SAS on, and I want to point at target. And the vehicle's out of electric charge. This is not shocking. It will slowly turn to the target as we build up our electric charge. So now this vehicle here, we're controlling from here, and that is fine. We're going to want to do the same thing out over this way. Oof, this frame rate makes things very difficult to move around. Okay. So we're going to need to acquire this docking port here. Is that this guy? Yes. Set as target. Okay. Then we're going to point at target. 6.3 meters per second. That's a lot of relative velocity differential there. Why are we traveling at 6.3 meters per second relative already? That shouldn't have built up this much yet. Maybe this has to do with the relative turn speed. Maybe. This shouldn't have built up to 7.2 yet, I wouldn't think. But let's go over to here for now. We know that this guy is going to be turning for a while, and that's understood, I guess. This is going to be real interesting, trying to get this docked up with this frame rate and this level of unwieldiness on both craft. It's going to be spicy. However, we should definitely untrack this. There's no doubt about that. That'll save us some time. So let's head back to the tracking station, and default name 17 there should be untracked. So let's grab that, and let's get rid of it as soon as we can here. Okay, so that'll be this debris. Let's just destroy that. Get out of here. Now we're going to fly the FlySafe 16, which is definitely not confusingly named compared to the FlySafe 16. Perfect. And we're still working on making our way over to the retrograde node. We're up to 9 meters per second differential at this point. I'm not sure if this is real, though. Maybe it is. Maybe. Regardless, we are definitely going to need to have some turning happening here. It's kind of close to time to put a cut in, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we will have these be, hopefully, in a position where they are ready to be rendezvoused with each other. This is going to be very obnoxious to do, but we'll see how it goes. I'm not sure if this number is real or not. We'll find out. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Xenocyte, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, The Lounge STL, Kentogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.